Well, it's never a dull moment, that's for sure. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Getting to Know We podcast. And it is day 4 of being homeless. And we were pretty hopeless last night. Last night was a pretty tough night. I'm going to be completely honest. We ended up about 4 hours from our destination of where we'd like to be in Iowa, and we were just so exhausted. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was falling asleep while driving. And this is Emma, by the way. And our podcast, hang on, before I get into it, I just want to thank all the listeners for coming this far. Our active listeners and subscribers are going up, and then it's just it makes me want to cry, because this is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and the fact that people are actually listening, it just warms my heart. So I just want to say thank you, and thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel, Anonymous Beats. It's connected to the Getting to Know We podcast, where we post videos of our own music. And we haven't posted in a little bit because we haven't really been stationed anywhere long enough. We're on the road right now, but hoping to make some music in the next couple days. So stay tuned for that. And wow, just what a journey it's been. We're currently on our way towards Iowa. We're about 3 hours outside of Des Moines. And wow. Just wow. We had a really spiritual experience. Well, at least I did. I had a very spiritual experience last night. I was so tired. I fell asleep in a hotel parking lot in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. And I woke up, and it was this beautiful river and like this amphitheater and a nice place to walk the dog, and it's just like everything just seemed so perfect. And I woke up, and my battery was dead. My car battery was dead. And if you tuned in to the last episode, you heard the story of what happened the day before, where we had like this whole car episode, and here we were again. I woke up, and I left the keys in the ignition. I was so tired, and I just fell asleep in this parking lot. But I forgot that the ignition was on, and so the battery's dead. And since the battery was dead, and so I woke up, it's not very fun to wake up to, and so I knew it was going to be hot, so I filled up the water bottles. I found some water, got the basic needs covered, and wow, it was a very spiritual experience to see that everything was provided for. I always have what I need. That's what I've been learning in my spiritual journey, is that whatever higher power you have, it always gives me what I need. I'm going to speak for myself. It always gives me what I need, maybe just not what I want. And so this is what happened. So the battery was dead. I was really upset. I walked into the hotel asking if I could stay there, if I could just charge my phone. Was completely rejected by the stewardess. They only started listening when I asked them how much a room was, and I thought that was terrible humanity right there. And I was very upset about it, and so I said I'll have to think about it, because they gave me, it was like $165, and I haven't showered in like a week, so I'm looking pretty atrocious physically wise, pretty bad. I haven't been able to do anything. So I haven't figured that out yet. Hoping that can be figured out today. And so I started it was, by then it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I realized it was dead at like 3 in the morning. Went back to sleep for like a couple hours, woke up at 5 o'clock. By 6, was asking the stewardess, like, hey, is there any way I could charge my phone? And they said, we don't do that here. So, Holiday Inn Express, not very kind, very disappointed. Very disappointed. We don't help people here is basically the message I got, and I was like, cool. So then I just went to get some water, and so then I started asking people because there was a lot more movement. It was 5 o'clock by then, and so my car was dead, and so I walked around, and this first man I asked, he had a truck, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good, because yesterday the guy that saved me had a truck, so I'm like, okay, it's very possible that this man is going to be able to help me. And he just grumpily looked at me and said, I'm on my way to work, period. Got in his car and left. And I was like, okay, cool. Grumpy man, negative. I turn around, and then there's another man, and I look at that man, and I was like, very upset by this point, and I was like, man, people suck. Like, I was like saying all this stuff. I kind of get mouthy. And this man turned out to be the nicest man. His name is Curtis, and man of God, I can tell. He had an amazing gray shirt on, and I was just like, this is exactly who I need right now. And he was so nice. Like, at the beginning it was a little because I get it, like, I'm the same way. When you first meet people, it's just kind of like, what is their intention, like, what's up? And so then I told him, can you have it jump? Like, that's all I really need. And he was like, no, I don't have any cables. I'm like, okay. So I just went to go. And then he came back to me. And he was like, hey, like, I have some ideas. What about this? What about that? What about, there's water over here. And he was just telling me everything that I needed to hear. And it was just the kindest man. I was like, thank you so much. And so I went to go charge my phone. I went to get water. And then here he came again. And he came back, and he was like, hey, like, I don't have any, like, because, his idea was we go walk to the gym, and there should be men there that should be able to help us, because he didn't have any jumper cables. And then he called his friend, and so his friend came, and he was like, okay, my friend's going to be here in 10 to 15 minutes. Let's try to get your car. And so he helped me move my car, and it was like this whole ordeal. And it was just the nicest man, and like, he was asking all these questions. And Curtis, if you're ever listening to this, because he asked me about my plushies, and I have pacifiers on my dashboard, and there's a reason for that. And I didn't want to tell him at the time, but if he's listening, I just want him to know that this is the Getting to Know Me podcast. Like, this is my podcast of getting to know myself and my alters. I have dissociative identity disorder. I have mental illness. And I'm using this podcast as a way to destigmatize. And what happens is, since we have child alters, there's certain alters when they present that they need things. And one of them tends to be a plushie, and one of them tends to be a pacifier, a blanket, and one of our stuffed animals. So that's why I have pacifiers on my dashboard, is because we use them in times that we have child alters present. And it's a way of self-soothing, I guess. So that's just to answer your question, Curtis. And I wouldn't have been on the road like I am right now without you. So I just want to say thank you so much to Curtis and his friend Dan, who helped jumpstart my car. Everything worked. He was looking at my car. He was like, your coolant's really low. And I was like, I know. Like, the odds of me making it all the way to California are really low. But I'm just going to go on faith and just pray that I get there, And so it was just a very spiritual experience, and it was just very spiritual, because it was like my higher power put these people in my life it feels like this whole journey across the United States is a way to reestablish that connection with my spiritual higher power. And this is just me speaking, because I haven't had them for a really long time. I haven't had relationships in a really long time. Connection with people in a really long time. And the reason why that is because growing up, like, I wasn't connected with. I didn't have people taking care of me. I had the opposite. I had people torturing me. I had people who didn't want me to live, didn't want me to survive, did crazy things to me. And I'm wondering why I can't connect to a higher power, and I'm over here, like, the reason is probably because I've never connected with anyone before, and that's why I'm struggling. But because of Curtis and Dan, I connected. I finally connected with somebody, and it was so nice to talk, and just a little spark. You know, I got a little spark today, and I just want to thank them for that spark, and my higher power as well. And that's what happened just this morning. So the day is still young. It's like, I think 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm back on the road. We're headed to Iowa, hoping to get there soon. Good grief. And see what else is in this store of an adventure of making it to California. We also have some job prospects in Iowa that we're hoping might come through, and you know, it's one step at a time. One step at a time. And I'm realizing that for the first time, and knowing what that truly means. So, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. Ooh. 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 Just trying to make it, man. That's all we're trying to do. And so, thank you so much for tuning in. I think I'm just going to make this a short one, and I will catch up with you all in the next one. So thanks for listening, and again, we are a homeless musician on the road to treatment for mental illness. That's what we're trying to do. And if you are willing to donate to our GoFundMe, there's a link in the description, as well as to our YouTube channel. If you go to Anonymous Beats, our handle is Anonymous Beats 8. I made it to the Mississippi. Woohoo! Crossing the Mississippi right now, guys. This is a huge deal. Wow. We are making it. Holy cow. Just want to say thank you to all of you out there, and if you're willing to donate, it'd really be helping us out. It'd go directly towards the channel, directly towards keeping us off the streets. So if you are willing to do that, you can email us as well to how to do that. Collaborations for music are also open and eligible. If we love collaborating with music and just doing what we do. So we'd love to hear from you. Our actual email is anonymousbeats8@gmail.com. So with that, I'm going to call it. I just want to say thanks for listening, and I will catch you all at the next one.